Welcome to the Flamingo Community Lagoon, where we kick back and chat about Flamingo Finance, the project roadmap, DeFi, crypto markets, and anything else, as well as answer any questions from the Flamingo community. For those who don't know, Flamingo Finance is an easy-to-use DeFi platform built on the Neo N3 blockchain. As a decentralized exchange, Flamingo is designed with smart functions for everyone, from beginners to advanced cryptocurrency users. On Flamingo, users can stake cryptocurrency in liquidity pools and earn rewards in our native token FLM. We've been around for over 3 years and currently have a TVL, or total locked value, of 74 million. We've also introduced our very own stablecoin called FUSD, where users can add collateral and borrow the stablecoin against the collateral. For those listening in on YouTube or Spotify, we hold these lagoons live on Discord every month, which we'll link below so you can join us in the next one. And please don't forget to like and subscribe from any platform you're tuning in from. Your support is greatly appreciated and is important to get Flamingo and get more people at the lagoons each month. If you're in the audience, feel free to raise your hand and come join us on stage, ask any questions you may have, or drop them in the chat and we'll keep tabs on it. So let's get started. Maybe we could start with an update from the devs. I know everyone's asking when in the chat lately about Flocks and Order Book Plus version 2. Maybe we could start there. But first, I just wanted to introduce a new dev. MFBZ has joined the team. You all may know MFBZ from another project on Neo called RentFuse, as well as Turkey Soul College. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for joining the team, MFBZ. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself for a moment before we move on in the lagoon.
Yes. So, hi everyone. I'm Michael, and I'm the founder of RentFuse and Turkey Soul College. I'm a software engineer, and I'm working on Neo since 2021. Mainly starting with a Launchpad hackathon that I won with RentFuse during that year, and then moving on by putting on chain RentFuse and Turkey Soul College. And now I'm also working with you guys, so on Flamingo, to bring it to new heights together. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Michael. Very happy to have you with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. It's I had a chat with Michael a couple of weeks ago, and I was giving him some feedback on some idea he had. But then I understood that he can help us, and he really wanted to help us. And I think with his skills, we're gonna reach new heights, because he is, like, one thing is saying that they're skilled, but he's also proven it with having multiple well done projects already running. So it's gonna be really nice, and he already have quite a few good ideas for what he can make in the future for Flamingo. So that's something to be really hyped about. And also he will really strengthen the speed on front-end development, because that's always the hurdle. Front-end development takes a lot of time, especially when it comes to crypto, because you don't have this old Web 2 structure where you have an API and you have front-end, but you mostly do things directly on-chain, directly from the front-end. So it's going to be really great. Already started working on a new data layer for Flamingo, so we can make the page quicker and more streamlined when it comes to requests.
And also leverage the new data that you've been creating more easily. So it's easily to make that from database data sitting in something that is displayable for a programmer but not displayable to a user, and having that data layer in between, that's really good, so that we can give all that juice in quick dev time, maybe I should say, from an idea to delivery. Just wanted to make a quick comment, Michael, that maybe you can move your microphone a little bit away from either your nose or mouth or something, because we could hear you breathing in between segments, or mute in between when you're speaking. Updates on dev side. There's progress on both Order Book Plus and Flux. It's in the second audit from a different company, and I really love that we do that, because there's one security company doesn't catch everything, obviously. We can see it, that they're also nice to have 2 eyes, 4 eyes. How many eyes do we have now, Odd? Maybe
it's multiple. Yeah, but it's so important, and not just for security, but also for optimization.
Yep.
So there's been a lot of optimization the last week. Most secure, but then like when you change something or optimize the code, and as a developer you optimize something and you think, this is good, and then these security people come and say like, yeah, this is a critical issue that you did this. And it's like, okay, let me how can I solve it then? And it's really good to have them. They're working really tightly together with the developers, so that's really nice, because it's not like they just hand over a report and are done with it. They are helping each step of the way, like looking through pull requests, seeing that like the code changes are good or bad. So yeah, it's been a bit more than we hoped for. So it's taken a bit longer time, but that's how it is. Security always comes first, and we had a meeting with them, and they were like, okay, we are a bit behind schedule. We hope it's okay, but it's a big scope. And I said, take your time, don't rush. Never rush. And they were like, yeah, but, and I said, no, like our community needs to have safe contracts. Doesn't matter if they come this week or next week. It matters if they're safe. And as I multiple times said the last days, is like, if we don't have safe contracts, we don't have anything to have our money in, because we don't have any money left. So security comes first, and we don't want to rush security. But yeah, it's going good, and also the cross-chain stuff is getting sold now for ontology, and a new wallet layer is being added to Flamingo as we speak. So it's live in, I don't know, a week or so.
Yes, I'm working heavily on that right now, and it solves a lot of things, because with the new bridge on for ontology, we need to use MetaMask, and also for Binance Smart Chain or BNB chain, we also need to use MetaMask. And if we're going to launch some test products and eventually maybe some production products on NeoX, we also need support for MetaMask, and that needs to be so that you can quickly change between chains. We've also wanted a long time to be able to use Flamingo and be in watch mode with multiple wallets. So we're solving all of that in one go right now. And it's all dependent on this new account/wallet layer that we're adding on Flamingo. So a lot of parallel development going on right now. And Flamingo Flux frontend development starting.
Basically, we were meant to start today, but we did some changes. But any day now, basically, it will start. Could we maybe share some of these changes?
We're iterating through the design so that we don't have to go back and develop again. I can share a screenshot from what we did today, Odd, with the header and the changes, and maybe some people like. I can do it in the spoilers.
Yeah. So some optimization for that, but the thing here is that it's easier to integrate these new contracts on like a front-end level, because Flux and Flund aren't that different, or the book version 1 and version 2 aren't that different. It's different, but it's not that different. The thing is that we will also have to change all swapping logic and everything like that, because now everything will run through the order book to save or optimize gas costs for users. So what we do today is swapping, and that's basically called a market order, and we will still have those. We will also have limit orders, and we will have market limit orders. So a market limit order is like you say, I want to buy 1,000 FLM up to this price. And if you don't fill that order, please add the rest as a limit order. And to explain, a market order is that you just say you want to buy 1,000 FLM, and it will just take the money it needs to buy them. So it will be really cool. So the easy swapping will still be there, and you will still utilize the order book if there is liquidity in the order book when you do a swap. So you get this guaranteed execution. That was the issue that we had before, that the AMMs and the order book were separate. So people could ignore orders in the order book if they were small. So then all of a sudden your order wasn't executed even though the price had moved past.
Yeah, there's some like two main points in mind with the new order book. It's one, to guarantee the execution limit of orders when price conditions in the AMM match the limit orders, because that was the problem now with the current implementation. That wouldn't necessarily guarantee execution. And the second point that is also important, if we're going to scale or have heavy trading days where multiple people will trade at once, and usually that happens when price spikes or dumps. We need to guarantee constant like execution complexity, and that's another way of saying that you're not failing on chain, because if the gas cost changed between when you create the transaction and submit it to the chain, and it actually cost a little bit more to handle your transaction on chain from what was calculated, and that could happen due to volume. Then your order will fail, and that leads to bad user experience. So, and also it could be like increasing gas costs, so that you now have like 1,000 or 2,000 different orders in the order book, and the gas cost becomes higher and higher and higher. We wanted to make sure that didn't happen. So that's the two main points in mind, and that's kind of difficult to solve on chain. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to do so far. We're not there yet. We're not in production. It's not like proven 100%, but 99.9% right now that it will work. And I'm really proud of us for achieving that, because I haven't seen that anywhere before.
Yeah, and that's the key. That's the key. Like, if you get an estimate from your wallet for the gas fee of the transaction, and someone else is doing something before you on the same block, and that gas gets a little bit higher to do it, and the order fails, that's really bad user experience. So that's been like the main concern, is to solve that issue. And with that, we also then solved making it cheaper, or cheap to do the trades, other than like looping through 100 different orders. That's there, because that's expensive. So yeah, it's insane what you did with these algorithms, Atlasor. It's that's a really cool one. I think that's something we can look back on in the future and be like, see multiple places.
Hopefully, I think it's good to share.
Yeah. So but like, I think it's really important for Flamingo to do this and do the order book, because then we can have, I know I said it last Lagoon as well, and maybe the one before that, but then we can have volume. Then you can sell 10 Bitcoins on Flamingo without any issues, without any price impact. Today, you can't do that. If you try to sell 10 Bitcoins, you will have 3 Bitcoins of value on the other side. So you lost 70% of your money. And that's why we also have lower volumes. Yeah. So I think like with the order book, you can now, if you claim, let's say 100 gas from your Neo or something, and you want to sell them, right now you will have a price impact of 0.2, 0.3% or something like that. So that's a direct loss you take on the trade. But if you add the limit order, you'll have 0% price impact.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to note that, okay, even though we do a lot of technical changes, we will try to make the interface
the
same, and that's on two levels. The one is the one you see when you go to flamingo.finance on your browser, and the other one is how you technically interact with the contract. So for arbitrageurs, I think it's also important that we consider it before we launch, that they have sufficient time to change their bots and to change what they need to do in order to have stable prices on Flamingo, because arbitrage bots is doing that heavy lifting, and they.
No, but I think as soon as it's on testnet, I think testnet, if everything goes as planned now, I think testnet maybe next week, not front end testnet, but back end testnet. Basically, the contracts will be there, so then we can start to make some
documentation.
Yeah, and then people with their bots can get some time to update them. It's not huge changes, but it can be, because
calculation-wise, it can.
Yeah, but the only difference now, I think it's a positive thing no matter what, because if you today do a swap, you will do a swap with the price impact. If you with the order book do a swap, you can do a swap. It can have like a market order, it can have a price impact, but it can also be better than that. It can never be worse, but it can be better. So you can get a better deal. You can never get a worse deal.
Yeah. And the way it also, like, you could add that network fee as well, so that you can have some priority on your orders as well with the new algorithm, because you shouldn't worry about the in what order, or like the user that isn't the arbitrage bot doesn't really experience any failure if the arbitrage bot goes before them.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
So let's see some questions. Is it possible to use gas to buy Bitcoin and then move it to a Bitcoin wallet without using exchange? Yeah, you can buy Bitcoin, but then you have to go cross-chain with it. So you will first have to wrap it to vBTC on Ethereum network, and then unwrap the WBTC. So so that's the way, basically, because on Flamingo is wrapped assets. If the new update will help, it will help. Hopefully, it will help a lot on the volume, because now people can sell bigger chunks. They can add. Let's say I want to sell 100 gas at this price. I don't want to sell it at a lower price. I can put that in the order book and say I want $6.4 for this 100 gas, and now they will stand there until someone fills that order. And if price now outside of Flamingo goes up, arbitrageurs will happily fill that order for me. So yeah, I think it will help a lot on the volume. And now we have a question about how to obtain or query the limit orders. That will be in the order book contract. You can fetch them with an RPC request. Flamingo is listed on Binance. Yes, yeah. So
answering some questions also in chat by writing.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So yeah, but feel free to ask more questions. How big the impact on gas fee? I think the gas fee will actually stay around the same, or for some trades maybe go down. You will not have like these different transactions where you have to pay fees to fund and stuff like that, because now you send assets into the order book contract, and the order book contract will handle the execution with the AMM and the limit orders. And then the fees for Flux will stay in the order book contract and be claimed by the order book contract when the epoch is done. So yeah, it's I can say that it's cheaper gas-wise, but it will be much cheaper price impact-wise. But I think gas will be around the same, isn't it? It depends a lot on how many decimals we decide to go with for the limit orders.
Yes, how much price precision is the limit order?
If we have like 1 cent price precision for Bitcoin, it will be expensive, because then look at this as a lot of different shelves, and the more shelves you have, the more you have to check, and the more you have to check, the more expensive gas gets, or more gas you have to use. So if we have a shelf for each cent, then we have to check each cent going up. But if we have a shelf for every $10 on Bitcoin, then it's much cheaper. So we're for the order book, you won't be able, at least on Bitcoin, to put a sell order at, let's say, $109, but you will be able to do it at $110 and at $100, because then the precision is $10. So there will be like in the middle, you will have the AMM filling the gaps between the shelves. For other currencies like FLM, you will have a cent or even, I don't know what you call that number behind the cent. But for like NEO, you will have a cent or maybe 10 cents as price, like precision. And the less we have, the cheaper it gets. The more we have, the more expensive it gets. So it's like, it's a trade-off there.
Yeah, I think we'll just do a run and try to check what makes most sense for every token as we configure them as we approach production for mainnet.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say exactly, but let's be on the conservative side and say a little bit more gas fee than now, and if it's less, then we're all happy.
So we have some questions about like cross-chain, and no, the gas fee does not have anything to do with the amount of orders. So that's what's really nice with the new way of doing it, the new algorithm. But okay, for cross-chain, we have a plan. It's since you're here that we can say it's just a plan right now. But our plan is, and we already had some discussions, to do the same that we did basically with Flamingo or MyMingo, that you make something nice that works to prove that its value. And the plan is there to integrate into Flamingo, but not into Neo. It's important to split those two, because Thorchain is not supporting Neo and 3 as we speak. But if we get people to use the Flamingo interface as Thorchain users, that will bring affiliate fees into Flamingo. It will bring affiliate fees into Flux. And for some of these affiliates, they make a couple of $100,000 a month. So that will bring a lot of buy pressure for FLM. But the long-term plan there is then to get Thorchain to see that there's value with Flamingo, and there would be value for them to add either Neo N3 or Neo X. So that's at least a way to get. It looks like Thorchain is the best cross-chain if you want to look for a decentralized solution that's been battle tested for a good while. So you have other more centralized solutions, but yeah, we've seen that some of those have, even though they've been really big, that like all of a sudden the owner is missing and funds are taken and stuff like that. So a lot of activity here today with the questions. Let's see.
Yeah, I've tried to answer some of them in writing as well, and the reason why I do that is because some of them are a little bit technical. So maybe a boring podcast talk, and you've taken it a level higher, Mr. Google, and talked about the broad strokes. So that's really nice.
Yeah. So and when it comes to volume, it's impossible to say, but I know, like from people we've spoken to, that it will be easier to use Flamingo. Then you don't have to send your 10,000 Neo to Binance anymore, because you can have the same price on Flamingo. So that makes it so that the volume stays on Flamingo instead of on Binance. And I know that that's an issue now for people with bigger wallets, that Flamingo has too little liquidity, so it's too expensive, or they have to do like 50 trades over a day to sell them. But with the order book, you don't need to do that. You can just put in one limit order and just wait for arbitrageurs or other users to fill it. And so I think that will impact volume a lot.
Now you're just talking alone, not
Am I? Yeah.
I'm not. I wish I was a dev so that I could be answering some of these questions, but a lot of these questions are so technical that only the best of the best devs can answer them. So that would be why Odd's talking to himself.
Yeah. I'm trying to answer some questions and also like take it up a step, so to see the bigger picture. But yeah, I think it's it makes sense. We have some skills on the team to show you good data. I think Flamingo is the only DEX and the best DEX when it comes to insight. And if we do the same for TorChain, that will bring a lot of affiliate fees into Flux, and that will bring a lot of pressure on FLM, and that's good for us all. That's on Neo. But then the long game there is to like convince them to support either Neo N3 or Neo X, because we then are a big affiliate. So, but it's a long go, but I think we have the skills to do it, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't try to get TorChain support. So it's just good for us all, but it's important to make the user interface easy. So if you don't want to have anything with that TorChain to do, and TorChain is layer 1 to layer 1 DEX basically. So what you can do there is that you can swap Ethereum to Bitcoin. I don't see them as a competitor, because for Bitcoin you have 10-minute block time. So if you want to trade Bitcoin on TorChain, you're really exposed to the price volatility of the asset you're trading. And they also have like some wait time, so it can take you like an hour or two to get your Bitcoin if you trade it from ETH or from USDT. So in the meantime, there the price of Bitcoin can have gone down or gone up. So so it's more, I see it more as a really good decentralized cross-chain solution. And they also had this issue with the volume, and they made something called streaming swaps. And that solved the volume issue, because now you can sell like 20 Bitcoins there without any price impact. And I think it's the same for Flamingo, that when you have the order book, you can sell 20 Bitcoins without any price impact. I think, hopefully next month, but you can't guarantee it. Definitely testnet will be ready then. And if everything goes well, if there's not big changes and everyone's happy, then yeah. As we want it out much more than all of you other guys want it out. It's simple as that, but we want it out the right way. So it's not like we're just chilling and thinking that we can do it sometimes next year, because this is something that we really want to see born and working. It's like itching for us to get it done. But it's important for us to not stress the auditors, because security is, they need to have all the space they need to do their work.
Yeah, and not to put it too bluntly, but if you do want something like super fast, just go to one of the other projects that put out fast things, but they always get hacked. Like
it's true.
You see it every day.
It's a reason why Flamingo been there for 3 years.
Yes, and without one single exploit.
So that's like important.
The velocity that we had in the beginning, or where we can just add new features all the time, and with the smart contracts also just build a brand new DEX basically on entry. Well, you can't do that all the time. It's like that would be crazy and somewhat irresponsible as well. Like you wouldn't have all these checks, and as the system grows, it grows also in complexity. So that's something to think about. You have all these moving parts, and when you add Flux, you need to shut down Flunt. So that's becomes a bigger project then, because then there's two huge moving parts to just make one new. So our community members also need to be aware that as we grow in complexity, it will also take a little bit more time. But that's also why we need to grow a little bit in terms of the team. As people might have noticed, we have done that in the past couple of years. And I think we should continue to grow so that we can do all that we need to do in the right amount of time.
Well said.
And we've been talking about development for a long time now, but there's also the marketing side has been growing as well. So
definitely. I was thinking that was a good segue, talking about the growth and hiring and needing to have a bigger team as the project grows. Not only as the project grows do we launch more features on the platform, but we get more community members involved. The audience in the Lagoons grows. The people in the Discord chats grows. The people on Twitter/X grow, and just the users in general on Flamingo grow. Liquidity pools grow. The order book grows. It's all going to grow, including the team. One of the primary endeavors that we have going on right now for growth is currently on TaskOn, and that's going to end here in a few days on February 29th. So users have been asked to follow us on social media, follow us on Discord, like certain things like our videos on YouTube and podcasts like this one on Spotify, as well as engage with us, comment on our tweets, things of that nature. TaskOn has been going really well, but it seems that we're having more and more users start asking us to move back to Zili. There were a few reasons why we left Zili last month to move over to TaskOn, but since then the team has actually discovered some new ways to be able to work with Zili. So you guys heard it here first in the Lagoon, but we'll be moving back over to Zili on March 1st. Maybe Zatroff and Morton want to weigh in on that a little bit more.
Yeah, totally agree. In my opinion, TaskOn is also a user-friendly, clean and good platform. But as I always say, our community consists of challengers. They are very competitive. They wanted a little more crisp, timed missions, daily missions, challenges. So there were, as you said, a lot of users asking us to go back to Zili. So we decided to listen to them as always. We may have campaigns again on TaskOn in the future. Who knows? But let's make a big splash on Zili next month.
Awesome. Let's do it. And then another one of our biggest marketing initiatives right now is actually our video form of marketing. I'm not sure if maybe Somnium Wave wants to give a word or two on maybe giving us an update on that.
So with some of the video content stuff, I've been creating some shorts on YouTube, trying to do some promotion on Twitter as well, trying to get some subscriber count up. I'm almost to 50, which is pretty nice. On Twitter, we also released the first video that I did pointing out some of the roadmap stuff for Flamingo, and actually got a little ad running on Twitter on that video. And organically, we got like 10K views on that. And I put a little ad on there for like $5 a day just to see what it would do. And we're almost at like 20K views now, which is pretty cool. And in addition to that, we are also going to start posting everything to TikTok as well. And Bordeaux actually kind of came up with the idea of spreading some of the content on there as well. And I think it's a good move because on TikTok, I've been doing a little research and they got like all these little trends and stuff and things called like FinTok, which is like a financial TikTok, I guess. So, kind of like Mr. Google, like I'm not the most savvy when it comes to TikTok, but I definitely think there's like opportunity there. So I'm really excited to explore it and see what we can find there.
Awesome. Yeah, even if we just took some shorts from these Lagoons, as well as the shorts that you've been making, like from the videos that you've been putting out, I think would be a huge hit. And then I think we can make some content specific to the TikTok community, because as we all know, or as some of us may know, maybe not Mr. Google because he's too old, but the TikTok audience is a little bit different than than YouTube. You know, they like the short and sweet and snappy videos, like extremely short, almost cutting off the previous sentence with your new sentence. That's how short and sweet and snappy these things need to be, and interesting as all hell. You know, as cool and funny and hip and interesting as you can make them. And I think we can have a lot of fun with it. We just need to kind of reorient our strategy a little bit from YouTube to TikTok, since it is a little bit different. But we can, repurpose a lot of the YouTube content for TikTok as well. So we're excited to kind of jump into that new endeavor in the coming weeks. So we've got Zeely in the pipeline. We've got TikTok in the pipeline. We'll continue on YouTube and continue on Twitter. We've also got some bigger things coming with some new partners, some new influencers. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, that's really cool to hear that you've been putting out advertisements on Twitter, Somnium Wave. That's actually the first I'm hearing about that. Awesome that you took that upon yourself to do, because you know when we tried to do it in the past from the Flamingo account, we weren't allowed to do it because we are DeFi, we're crypto, right? So we were basically blocked. But because you aren't DeFi and crypto, you're just a person. To them, even though I love you and I know you're more than just a person, to them you're just a person, and so they're allowing you to do it, and that's really cool. We should definitely continue to push that forward and see, you know, other avenues that we can maybe advertise. Maybe not just on X. Maybe we can advertise your videos on YouTube and on Google and all of that. So it's kind of a little workaround to be really nice.
Yeah, exactly. I found that kind of interesting too. It's like they'll allow people talking about DeFi and crypto. They'll allow them to like run ads on that. But if you're like running ads as a company or a platform that's a DeFi platform, it's like they want all this like regulation stuff and signed up with like all these institutions and make sure you're legit. But if you're just like a, you know, content creator or influencer or whatever, they don't have a problem with it, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I think now that you have done all this work with Zeely and temporarily Tascon and back to Zeely again, and now with trying this influencer-esque approach as well with Somnium Wave, we're well prepared for new users and a new bull run. I guess we will get more attention as more people flock to crypto again, having that FOMO. And it's so nice that you've been working so hard in this, you guys have been working so hard in this bear market, because now we're like, we have experience now going into this bull market. So we're already here with content. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, if we weren't trying to push as hard as we could during the bear market, then we wouldn't have learned all the things we learned by the time the bull market comes around. For example, you know, there's some of the endeavors that we tried to move forward with, you know, advertising on YouTube, advertising on Google, running ads on different crypto websites. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. A lot of things we just got completely blocked on because we're in crypto. And it's almost like perfect the way it worked out, right? Because we were trying to work so hard during bear and a lot of that stuff didn't work out. I'm glad that it didn't work out during bear versus trying and putting so many hours into it during bull and having it not work out, because that's the worst time to have something not work out, right? So at least it didn't work out during bear, and we're still building, we're still launching new features all the time, we're still marketing, and I'd rather have the learning process happen during bear when there's less everything all around than when it's bull and there's just like more, go. I'd rather have learned everything before that. And of course, we haven't learned it all. We haven't learned everything. We're learning new things every day. But I'd rather have the wherewithal and the know-how as we approach bull versus just kind of sitting around twiddling our thumbs like a lot of projects during bear. We've been working hard, we've been busting ass, and now we're here, we're ready. So yeah, I know this is turning into a rant, but I get super passionate.
That's good. It's nice to hear that you're passionate. And
but we're still in a bear market, right?
Yes, we're just getting out of it, I guess. Maybe that's the right narrative.
That's a good question. Like, who defines bull versus bear market? Who calls that shot?
Depends. It's an individual thing, I guess. So for me, I've been like in the bull market since Bitcoin went back to $20,000. It's been like it's still a bear market when it comes to new people coming in. If that so it depends on your metric, I guess. What's your metric? Is it price? Is it people? Is it adoption? So for me, it's like price, because I know with price also people comes. I think like the bull feeling was when people again started asking me about crypto, how they can buy crypto. So I think that bull and bear is just a feeling basically, or it's feelings based.
It's the zeitgeist, basically. It's the feeling of the time in a general way. For like, you can hear people saying a lot of bull, and then not in that sense, but not bullshit. But they talk about the things being bullish, and then bearish. So you get the feeling that is bull market,
like
the feeling that is bear market. So it's not really. There's probably a technical definition somewhere in the crypto markets and in the stock markets and everything. Probably some kind of indicator that you can
find.
Like
if it crashes like 15% overall, it's a bear market or something like that.
Probably, yes. Yeah. And there's probably some indication of recovery or something, and that's probably where we are right now.
But that's the technical stuff. But then you have like the one based on feelings and the sentiment, I guess. So I would say that at least after yesterday, the sentiment is really bullish around everywhere. I don't see people now saying Bitcoin to 25K before it's going to test something else. And even this, sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. I talk all the time.
I was going to say, for me personally, I consider us in a bull now just because, you see the line go up, like almost every day, almost every week, and over almost every month lately, the last, handful of months. That to me kind of feels, like you said, like maybe you base it on feeling. That kind of feels like a bull market to me. But when it really feels like a bull market to me is price discovery. Right. There's nothing that feels more like bull, at least in my experience, than when you don't know where it's going to go to because it's never been there before. That's like ultimate FOMO levels.
That's more like rocket market.
Market.
I think it's independent what people feel and what they want. No one, I guess, none of us here are able to see into the future, so it's just based on our feelings and our hopes and our positions, I would guess. So you see that on the price talk channel all the time, one guy coming in like FLM to $4, now it's going to take off, and then you see when he's sold, it's like FLM is shitcoin, it's going to get delisted. So all of that changed when his position changed. So
True. Even if you're not bullish, you could be bullish depending on your position, or even if you're not bearish, like your
I don't think any people are. Everyone is biased when it comes to this. If you sold all your bitcoins and you have stable coins now, you're bearish. If you don't have any stable coins and you only have Bitcoin, you're bullish.
Definitely.
Yeah. It would be like else you have some like kind of issues with your head.
Yeah, I agree.
It would be strange to sell all your Bitcoin and being bullish.
It's funny, right? Because when you look at the market in general, obviously, I'm invested in crypto in general, so I want the market to do well. But when I look at other coins doing better than the ones I hold, I'm like, God damn it, I'm pissed about that. But when I see my coins doing better than other coins, I'm like cheering, I'm dancing, So it all depends on your position. It all depends on the specifics of the tokens you're invested in. Even though we all want the crypto market to do well, unless you've sold everything to stable coins, in which case you want the whole market to, do poorly. That's a good point, Mr. Google. It kind of depends on your positions too.
Yeah. Like Atlas was saying in the chat, nothing is financial advice. It's based on purely feelings and what you can think that you have knowledge of what will happen in the future. So I don't know. Do anyone give financial advice? I think even financial advisors say that it's not financial advice.
There are financial advisors, and depending on your regulations where you're from, you're not allowed to say certain things unless you have the disclaimer. I think there's no problem, but in the US, I think there and some states.
No, but like these financial advisors, I think they as well say that this is like, how can I give you a financial advice?
Maybe if I hired you. Maybe if I've hired you as a financial advisor, you could give me advice. But if I haven't hired you, even if you're a financial advisor, you can't.
That sounds like a really stressful job.
Right? I wouldn't
give other people advices on how they should spend their money. Wow.
Right?
Yeah, but that is business.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess so.
But because there's a lot of rich people that do want that advice, they maybe fall into money more. Like think about sports. There's so much money going around, and they haven't had like a career path where financials is a big part of that, and they need someone to help them. So they have financial advisors on how to manage their money, and so there are professional people. But depending on regulations, I guess maybe in the US that's more of a thing. In Europe, I don't think you usually have to say that disclaimer, but we're international, so why not? And it's
it doesn't hurt to say it. It's just my opinion. It's Bordeaux's opinion. It's
And my opinion
we've been wrong many times before.
You should trade responsibly.
Sports and investments. I was going to ask if anyone heard of at the most recent Super Bowl. There was like a streaker. And I saw in the news that the streaker is a guy who put in a gamble or a bet in Las Vegas saying like there will be a streaker at the Super Bowl, and he put like $30,000 on that, and then he was the streaker, and he earned like over $1 million, and it kind of reminded me of crypto. You know, a lot of times investors shill their own token and then buy their own token to try to make it go up, and it's kind of what this guy was doing. The Super Bowl, kind of funny.
Yeah, I saw that as well. But wouldn't the casino be like hedged against that somehow? Like, if you read the terms, when
you're not allowed to gamble on a soccer match, you're playing yourself.
Right. You would think so, but maybe because it's such a weird fringe thing, like streaking is different. Maybe they don't have something like that in place yet, and he took advantage of it. I don't know.
And it could be a custom bet, like over-the-counter bet made in Vegas with some schmuck that
he probably went to like some mobster or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he's dead now.
If it's Vegas, it's probably different.
Yeah, but if anyone wants to come up on stage and ask some questions, feel free, and also feel free to ask them in the chat. It's a couple of minutes left. I know everyone is like wanting to know when, but it's impossible to say when. It's being worked on, and I think it's really cool for the future. But if you have any other questions than that, just feel free to have them. And we will answer as best as we can.
When Tao.
When Tao, I have a really bad conscience about that one, because it's is it named conscience? Is that the right word? Yeah.
Bad conscience, yeah.
Conscience, yeah. Because we have some projects waiting for Tao, and hopefully we were supposed to launch it this summer, but it's a lot of the work is done. But when we saw that the order book didn't work out as we hoped, and we know that we need the order book for FUSD, and we also need an order book for volume, we had to make some priorities. So I think like it's not much work left to get it done, but as soon as these things that take a higher priority is done, it should be there. Okay. And now also growing in developers, it helps a lot. So yeah.
Questions again in the chat, so just trying to answer some of them.
seems like we didn't talk about the flux mechanism, and a user was asking this question, so hopefully he will listen to this AMA record. He was asking, what if there will be no enough flux orders on the order book? So what if people want to sell lots of flux, and if there are no orders on the order book, what will happen?
No,
Is
then
there
you have to
security step?
It's a marketplace basically. So if there's a lot of Teslas on the market and people want to sell all their Teslas, then they have to compete about getting it sold. So then it's up to the one that lowers the price the most gets sold first. Because if you can choose between 1,000 different Teslas, you will buy the cheapest one. So it's the same here. Like you can say you want to sell it for 100 FLM, and no one will buy it. You can say you want to sell it for 1.2, maybe someone will buy it. You can say that I want to sell it for 0.6, and I guess someone is interested. But if they're not, then there's not a market there for sell orders right now. So when you go into Flux, you should know that it's a long-term thing. It's not something that you want to bail out of in 1 week, because that's why you have the dividends. That should be the thing that gives you your return.
Okay, so in FUSD loaning mechanism, when you go above 40%, there will be margin maintainer bots that will maintain your margin. But in Flux order book, so eventually you will need to set a lower price if you want to get your Flux getting bought from the market. So it's totally up to the users to buy it or not.
It's just like how we trade Bitcoin and how we trade everything else, basically. If you want to sell it now, you have to accept the price that's on the market now. And I promise you that there will be people with an order there for 0.1, something like that, you know? So you will, I guess you will always be able to sell, but it's not a guaranteed what price you can sell at. And that depends on, of course, dividends, trading volume, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, your horizon. So if you need to sell today, that's maybe a bad thing to be like in rush. But if you can sell out for a month or something, let's say you sell in the end of an epoch, it's easier to sell and get back your FLM, because then someone can buy it and also get the dividends. So I don't see an issue in selling it and getting the FLM back. It's just depending on when you do it and how greedy you are. If you want to sell it for, let's say you buy it for 1 FLM, and now you have 0.1 FLM in dividends. I'm sure someone will take that off your hands for 1 FLM to get that 10% gain for free.
Okay, so there will be no secondary mechanism that will auto buy your
So
flux.
you won't mint. No, it won't mint FLM again. So that's the whole thing. This is users that burn FLM, and those FLM will be gone forever. So if you want to sell it, someone else needs to buy it from you with FLM.
Okay.
So else it's not burning, basically. Then it's just burning and minting again, and then that's the same as Flund.
I see. Kobzo is asking why Flux cannot be used as a collateral.
Because the price will depend all the time on the assets, and it can't be liquidated. Like we talked about, there's not a safe market for it. With Flund, it's a safe market. You can always get back X FLM that can be sold on liquidity pools on Flamingo. But with Flux, there's not a market there. So to sell, so maybe let's say the market crashes and you need to sell 50 million Flux and no one is there to buy it, then we also get the DPEG or like under collateralized loans on FUSD. But we will open up so you can lend with FLM, so it will be even more use case for FLM and some other assets as well. So yeah, that's the downside of it, that it can't be used as collateral.
Maybe in 3 to 5 years it can be, depending on popularity.
If the market is good enough, yeah.
Need a good market, because you can do that with Neo now, you can do it with Bitcoin, and you can do it with Ethereum. It's based on how liquid the market is on Flamingo, because you need to directly be able to liquidate when market conditions change to have a safe over collateralized coin. As soon as it's under collateralized, you depeg basically.
Also, technically, you need to hold Flux token inside your wallet to earn the dividends. So technically, if Flux had a stable price, just giving as an example, so if you are putting your Flux into another wallet, a contract or something like that, other than your personal wallet, so technically you will lose your chance to earn your dividends, right?
Yeah, other than on the marketplace, you can always add a sell order, and the dividends will still be yours. But as soon as someone buys it, and that's important to know, like if you sell before dividends day, the dividends follows the tokens. If you sell after the dividends day, then the dividends belongs to you. So then future dividends will belong to the new buyer, and past dividends will belong to you.
So don't move your Flux tokens to another wallet if you want
you can, but then it belongs to that wallet.
Yes, for your personal wallet. If you send it to your friend's wallet, you will lose your chance to earn your dividends. Your friend
then it's your friend getting it.
Dividends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, you're going to get a fee associated with sending it to a different wallet.
Correct.
There will be a fee.
Yes.
And that will be burned as well. So that's to create even more like scarcity around it. So yeah.
Extra burn on burn.
Yeah, and it's like it's a downside with this, not using it as collateral, but opening up for FLM with low interest rate. I think that will help as well, because that's even more utility for FLM. Flux gives a lot of incentive to people in liquidity pools as well, because they will be able to get in 1-to-1 if you don't claim your FLM, but if you buy Flux with your unclaimed FLM. So now you're basically giving even more value to liquidity providers as well. And I see that as a win-win.
So hopefully we've answered a lot of questions today. I feel like we have, and we've given some good updates both on development and marketing. It's been like almost 60 minutes of that, I feel, and almost no talk about the markets, and that's something positive, I think. Or it's cool to talk about the markets as well, but like when we can fill 60 minutes talking about what's happening, that's even cooler.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good, and I think it's some exciting times ahead for Flamingo and also for the market, of course. So and also I think it's time to wrap up, but like I say, we're always here, so just ask questions in the general channel or discuss something in price channel, and there's always someone here, always someone that can tag the right person or something like that, and there's no need to wait for the next Lagoon if you have any questions. But of course it's cool to have them in the Lagoon as well, because then we can fill 60 minutes of talking about just Flamingo actually.
Yeah, they're nice in the Lagoon and they're nice on Discord, but also don't forget that we're not in a silo here on Discord. And when I say don't forget, I'm not talking to just you, Mr. Google. I'm talking to everyone. We're not in a silo here on Discord. It's not just all on Discord or in the Lagoon, obviously. We're here to answer your questions on Twitter/X, on YouTube, Telegram, all over the place. So
yeah, that's true.
You don't have to be right here on Discord to ask us questions. You can ask us anywhere we are. So on that note, definitely want to thank everyone for joining us. Thanks for the questions. We hope we answered everything. Thanks for the team for joining. This has been a great one for sure. And yeah, we'll see you next month.
Perfect. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. See you later.
Bye.
Have a nice day.